What is going on, beautiful people? So recently I set up a tank for my Ranchu goldfish. Now I kept it really plain and simple, just some little rocks, a bit of gravel, but then I just got bored. I just don't like tanks that don't have plants in. So we put some plants in to see what would happen and see if they would eat them, and they didn't touch them. Now that doesn't mean that they won't touch like all plants. I know that certain plants they definitely do eat, but the ones we've gone for here have proved to be completely fine and okay, and they've not been chewed. So I'm assuming they're going to be good on a bigger scale, or more plants anyway, more of them. That's what I'm trying to say, just tons of them. So here are the little scallywags. I haven't fed them today, so they're performing for me, if you like. They want feeding, but not a good idea if I'm about to take them out and put them in another tank. I'll be feeding them all properly later anyway, so they need to come out so we can remove everything. I don't want to use this substrate. I want to go for a darker substrate. I think I think it'll work better with these guys. Obviously all the rocks need to come out, the plants need to go out, everything needs to come out. Let's just get them out. And I personally think it's better to catch goldfish by hand rather than some horrible net. Scratch them up. There you go, buddy. He's fine. They think I'm feeding them, but there you go. My hands are nice and smooth, you see, versus a rough net. Come on, you're the biggest. Don't be scared. Now, obviously, they're not staying in that. I have another tank for them. And it is this one here, my plant holding tank, and some other fish as well. They're all big enough that they're not going to be gobbled up by the goldfish. But also on the top, look, tons of duckweed, so they'll have an absolute field day in here. There's too much in there. Let's let them have a big splurge. Here you go, guys. Fill your bellies. Temperatures matching because I heat both the rooms to the same temperature. These guys, they look so confused, bless them. What is going on? Oh, they'll be settled in no time though. Enjoy your little stay away, guys. Something better coming soon. Right, fish are out, but the filter is running, and obviously that's full of beneficial bacteria. So I'm going to move that across to this tank so that it can just keep flowing and it will keep everything alive in there. There's obviously enough beneficial bacteria in there for the fish and the waste they're producing at the moment. To be honest, the tank is going to be turbocharged now in terms of, you know, cleaning and beneficial bacteria because we have so many plants going on. But yeah, that to there. So I've still got quite a good few snails in the setup, which I want to save. Snails are brilliant for planted tanks, guys. Anyone who doesn't like snails doesn't like planted tanks, in my opinion. Actually, that's not true. They don't like low maintenance planted tanks anyway. Like, snails do so much work. Ta-da! Clean slate, tank's cleaned out, ready to go. Now, if we're going to be putting plants into a tank, what do we need in it? A substrate system. First of all, sprinkle in some gravel. You can use pea gravel. I'm going to use crushed lava rock. Now, on top of that, we need the nutrients. The point of the gravel is to stop the nutrient layer, the topsoil, all compacting and getting all icky and stuff. This just allows water to sort of travel through it. Keeps it oxygenated, if you like. And then we want to give it all a nice sort of mix together. People moan at me for doing this in the tank, but it just looks better on camera. You can do it in a bucket if you want. I'm only like going to be scratching the bottom of the glass anyway, so that doesn't matter. Brilliant. I know it looks a mess at the moment, but that doesn't matter. Now on top of that, I'm going to be placing crushed up root tabs. I use the ones from API. I've always found them absolutely brilliant. All my tanks grow great, so I'm going to go with that now. So I'm going to take a few excuse all the mess we're creating. When we're creating, there is mess. I'm going to use 4 tablets for this size aquarium. It comes in a pack of 10, so then I can use the rest for different setups as well. Pestle and mortar. There we go. And then I just go over and sprinkle it all on everything, because we're going to have plants all over this aquarium, so that makes sense to me. Then you can mix it all up if you want. Yeah, it's not a lot of point if we're going to put some gravel and everything over the top next. No, sand, actually, I'm going to cap it with sand. And the first sand layer, I'm going to use the same stuff we just took out. And for the last layer, which is the decorative one that you're actually going to see, we've got mano-based black. This stuff is so good. It's natural, it looks so natural. Oh, you can't see it. Anyways, put it in the tank and then you'll see. I think it'll go really well with the fish as well. It's quite dusty, but that's fine. It'll clear in no time. I'm going to use it all. Woo. Spread it about a bit. Okay, that's cool. I think we've got a good thickness there to where we can actually plant right into it, right down deep, and it won't be pulled up, because obviously the goldfish will sift through the sand, but they only just like scratch the surface. They don't dig down really. They just like pick up spit, so it should be absolutely fine. Okay, that's awesome. Substrate system complete. We can now start arranging the rocks how we want them. Because they're rounded, the sand's obviously going to support their shape. Just be careful when you're filling up water, because stuff can shift around a bit, but we should be all right with this stuff because it all interlocks. I mean, hopefully it does. And you know what's actually quite funny? I completely forgot, but I bought a new light for this tank and I've not even put it on. I bought a new twin star. It's going to look so good with the plants. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this light. Look, it's exactly the same one we've got over this tank, growing the pearl weed. There he is again. He always hangs out in that middle spot. Yeah, it grows the pearl weed absolutely fine. It might struggle though, that light, with some of the reds I'm after on, you know, in the background and that. So yeah, we just switch it over. Yeah, I didn't want to do it like that. It actually looks really good uplit from the back. Anyway, it's got to come off. Look at that. Now, you probably can't tell at the moment, but that is so nice, clean looking. The light itself is just so well made. Quality, really good colouring rendition. You can see, no you can't, hang on, there we go. Look, you can see the different coloured LEDs in there. We've got lots of whites all around the outside. We've got some blues and greens, reds, you know, everything the plant's going to need anyway. But before we get into planting, we need to build our hardscape. Same stones we're going to put back in a funny arrangement. Okay, here's the big main stone, which I'm going to put there. I want stuff to go sort of that way with one coming this way, I think. Second stone, maybe like that. This one coming off that way. I'm not thinking about this too much, if I'm honest. That one over there. We've got like an arc going on, haven't we? How can we break that arc up? Not like that. I actually quite like it. I think it's quite contemporary, and with the greens in there, should look really good. Speaking of greens, let's get planting. I'm just going to take off hang on, that's too bright. Yeah, I'm just going to take off sections of it and plant it in. Remember, it's got to go in that much gravel, so whatever I take off, I need to make sure that there's that extra bit to be able to plant as well. We don't want it being too tall, I want it just coming above. So yeah, there's loads there, there's plenty, isn't there? Right, so usually when I do stuff with pearlweed, I just don't trim it, as you can see next to us. But that's going to be different on this one. And the reason it will be is because I don't mind all those little bits going in the water column, because the fish will eat them. Nothing worse when they're just floating around everywhere. I know you can net them out, but it takes ages, and even then you miss loads. Okay, that's enough of planting without the water inside. I find it so much easier to plant stems with it filled up, and we've only really got stems going in this tank, so up it goes. Oh, I'm absolutely loving that. Just on its own, the whole look of it, the clean background, the really the really clean twin star light is what I'm trying to say. And I really like the substrate as well. It's supposed to be the what is it? Mano base black. But it's got like flecks of brown in it as well, which give it a really, really natural vibe. I'm loving it. And I also like this sort of multi-layered substrate system because you can see all the different areas. We've got the soil, capping, and then decorative and capping again. Now this stuff is like crushed lava rock and that, so it's going to pull nitrates out of the water column. Again, we've got messy fish, so that's going to help as well. Going to add fertilization to all the plants. But what I really love about leaving it sort of open like this is you can see the roots hitting the different layers, and you often find that before they get to the soil one, they start spreading across, and then they spread down the roots into it. So it's hard. The runners go across, the roots go into the brown soil. It's quite interesting actually. Well, it is to me anyway. Well, we can carry on with the planting. We can get our red plants. I think I'm going to go for a section there and just sort of tapering off down like it's like downhill or something. I think that'll look cool. Okay, next up going in, I've got the Altanamphra. All of these got plant weights on as well, so that should keep them locked down. I'm thinking there. That look good? It's only going to be a hint of it to start with, because obviously it needs to grow taller. Stand up, please. No, stand up. There we go. Nice, yeah, like I say, a little hint. And then over in this back section, I think some of the Ludwigia palustria super red, look really good poking through. And I've got two sort of sprigs of that. That's all right, this one can go in on its own. And I've got another one as well. Again, all these plants, when we tested, they didn't eat them. So hopefully we'll be all right. Now you might be thinking there's no CO2, how are you gonna keep those plants red? Well, I grew all of these plants with no CO2, including all the red ones you see, and we need some more, so let's go get them. So this is my other studio, and this tank here is my better fish one. There he is. He's at the top. And all of these plants you can see, hang on, if I get rid of the reflections and turn it up slightly. There we go, all the plants you can see here, and all the redness and everything, is grown without CO2, including the Monte Carlo that's now carpeting as well. The substrate system, they love the nutrients. They just grow, grow, grow. I've just picked out a load of reds from here as well to put in the other tank, so they should look fantastic. And the fish are still doing okay. It's the next day, by the way, so they've been in here a day. Absolutely loving it, to be honest. It's the same size tank, but yeah, they're not bothered by the other fish. The other fish seem to like them. They've been eating the duckweed for sure, because I keep seeing green poop dotted about. But the good thing is I've got some bristlenoses in here, and they eat all the poop that they put down. There's some there. People saying you shouldn't keep bristlenoses with fancy goldfish because they'll eat the slime coat. But the bristlenoses I've got are quite small. They're like the youngsters. They're not big, so I've never seen it anyway. People said the same to me about ottos and bristlenoses with my discus, and I not once in like 2 years saw a single time when they were like sucking on them. I guess it does happen, and it has happened, but surely it's more rare than it's commonly spoken about, I guess. To be honest, I'm finding that's like most things in this hobby. Anyway, let's get these reds in their new tank. Woohoo, we're done. Now we can just sit back and enjoy the growth. Like this is all going to grow so fast to the surface. This light from Twin Star is so good. What one is it again? I forgot. Oh, there we go. Twin Star Light Free 600E. So it's the free series, I think that means, like the latest. Yeah, really nice light. So that's going to grow these fast, and as they grow, we trim them, replant them, so there'll be even more to choose from. Now, if this wasn't a goldfish tank, I'd probably do some wood, just sort of coming over. Couple of like sort of ribs, if you like, but they're just going to bump into it. They're going to get scratched up, so I'm not going to do that. We can move the filter back across that's now over there, been running. I'll give it a clean as well because it looks rough. Well, I'll clean the stuff you can see anyway. So the filter's flowing, it's just airing out at the moment actually, but you can see down here, look, some of the plants are getting a bit battered, so I've made this thing here. It's like I cut it out from a bottle, bended the plastic back at the top, folded it, and it will just sit underneath the lip of there and just scoop it all towards the surface. Works perfect. Now I made sure all the plastic's been rounded off, so there's no sharp edges. It's very flimsy as well for the goldfish. So yeah, you can see there, look, plants are currently getting battered. Slide this under. Ta-da! It's now the next day and the tank is looking fantastic. All the air bubbles have gone. I mean, that always happens quite fast when you've got a filter attached. In the no filter tanks, it can take ages for air bubbles to go if you don't manually bangle. But yeah, looking so good. Look at that, eh? Is that not paradise for a fish? Well, either paradise or an expensive buffet. If the fish eats these plants, I don't mind, because all of them are trimmings from other tanks. So, you know, they'll just grow back anyway and I'll have more. But I do think we'll be okay. Someone mentioned in the tester video for these plants that they think the reason the goldfish didn't eat them is because they're quite big and they don't really see them as food. That's why they ate the trimmings, like the little bits that come off, but not the actual plants itself. So hopefully it stays that way. A little bit like if an elephant is pegged down by a little pin when it's a baby. When it's an adult, it doesn't try and pull it out. It's nothing like that, is it? But you know what I mean. Okay, goldies, are you ready for your new tank? Well, the same tank, but the new layout. Look at them. Their bellies are full, and there's certainly less duckweed than there was. It was carpeted, or fully covered, and now there's gaps. You've had a good munch on that, haven't you? That'll clear out their digestive systems. It's really good for the goldfish to get that vegetable matter going through their system, especially for the fancies that might have, should we say, not optimal sort of digestive tract shapes, maybe. Right, let's put you in. Okay, then here we go, one at a time again. Just use my hands. One. They're just so funny, aren't they? 2 and 3. Straight away, this little guy here is just exploring everywhere. Loves it. The other two are just tucked around the back there, probably looking for this little guy. I don't name them anymore, guys. It's too risky. They're 1, 2 and 3. Oh, hang on. There we go, look, spotted. Just chilling, getting used to the surroundings. We'll be absolutely fine in a minute, guaranteed. Pretty cool that we've got a little plant hammock though for the Goldie, isn't it? I mean, the good thing is they know that I am safe, you know, they know me. So maybe if I do my tap tap, no, they're not even having any of that, although eyes flickered. Hang on, let me get their food. Guys, want some food? You want some food? They're like, no, we don't need food. Our whole tank is food. Just try putting some food down and see how they react to that. Sinking pellets. There you go, look, all at the front. Oh, little one's coming, yay! There we go, look, he's up. Oh, happy now? Yeah, completely happy. This one as well, right from the start, to be fair. The other one's just hanging around in this back sandy area where I can't really film, but it seems to be absolutely fine. So yeah, they love sifting through sand. That's why I've left these sandy areas in the foreground, and that's also where most of the food will drop when I place it in there, and it means they've got a place to sift through, and also it means they can pick it all up so it doesn't like just get trapped in places and goes like bad. So is this gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Time will tell. It looked good in the testing, let's put it that way, but you know, they might change their mind and just decide to start eating. I think hopefully because their size, it's, you know, it's going to be on our side that it does work, and if I keep that feeding going in that front section into the sand, they'll know that's where food happens, that's where it's food time, plus the duckweed going in the top as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're on to a winner.